Yeah, I just need to let you take it in. I actually got to drive it. That means I've driven 2 of the 593 Calypsos. What's up, Purist? It's Bob from Purist Motorsports, and well, it steals the show, that's for sure. It's a rare color. Funny, people didn't order, well, I guess you could say John Q. Public, however you want to say it. There were not a lot of these sold. This color did not sell well, and now they're coveted, much like Reef Blue or Bimini Blue or Bimini, however you say that. There's a couple of different ways to say it. Anyways, those colors that didn't sell well for whatever reason later on end up being highly coveted and sought after down the road. I don't know if it's nostalgia or if it's because people want to have something that other people don't have. Same's true for the E36 M3 cars in the violet color, that purple color. Those seem to bring a premium. I watch those two. Okay, sorry to say, I like those cars. They're fun to drive. Not powerful, but fun to drive. I used to own one. Anywho, this car is in the shop for a little bit of maintenance. It does get driven. There are bugs on the front and on the windshield. As you can see, can you see the bug splatters? Yeah, hi. But it's enjoyed. I had actually recently made a long cruise on the Saleen Club of America, what they call the Alabama Cookout, and it's now grown into a multi-day event with driving involved, relaxing. It's no car show. It is literally just hanging out and driving a Saleen or whatever I guess you could bring us. There are some other makes and models that show up too. I know there was a Porsche that showed up this year. It's really just about hanging out and enjoying each other's company, as well as talking cars and being with other fellow gearheads. You should check that out, SaleenClubOfAmerica.com. That's a fun event. I highly recommend it. It's I think in Lake Guntersville, Alabama, in a resort there. So check it out. So this car, I do know this. I've actually kind of going to bring Mark into this conversation remotely, but I do know that there are only 6 of these made in all of Saleen Fox production. Only 6. 5 of those are 93 models. 1 is a 91 SC. This car is very stock. It is as delivered from Saleen, albeit from maintenance items such as like rotors, usual wear items. The wheels, I think they look original, but I'm pretty sure they've been restored because they're extremely nice, which is not surprising. The finish on the stern wheels, as I make noise, the finish on the stern wheels was very thin. The original finish is not that great. This is a lot thicker. It looks much better. But the car, well, it speaks for itself, and it does get driven. It gets enjoyed, which is why it's here. There's some, I guess, squeaks and things like that in the front suspension. We're double checking, going through, test driving it to be sure that it's going to get back to the owner the way it should. But it is a non-supercharged 93. I can't remember how many of the 5 93s are supercharged, which will get Mark involved in the conversation on phone to kind of help straighten that out. But Calypso did not sell well, and that's what this color is. Well, let's just talk about the appointments in 93 for Saleen. Starting in 92, the 17-inch wheels were something that were added. The 5-spoke ARE wheels ended in 91. So starting in 92, the one-piece sterns were used on these cars. The one-piece sterns were used through portion of 93 production. And then you get into two other types of wheels for the 93 Saleens. That's going to be a Logic wheel, and it's also going to be the Speedline wheels. I think Speedlines and one-piece sterns are the ones you see the most. The Logic wheels, at this point, I only know of 3 or 4 cars specifically that I know of for sure that had them. I want to say 4 if I'm counting, going by memory. But that wheel is very rare. And in a matter of fact, one of the 5 Calypsos actually has Logic wheels on it. As to where it is, I'm not going to say, but I do know pictures of it have surfaced on the internet. Pretty much anything that you want to know has surfaced on the internet, whether it's true or not, well, that's to be debated. But, so you had the 17-inch wheels, we'll say, because you had 3 different kinds. So 17-inch wheels in 92 and 93. The Recaro seats were also added, starting in 92. That's a standard throughout all the cars in 92 and 93. You had Recaro seats in all of them. It didn't matter what car, SC, SA10, regular production, supercharged cars, blah, blah, blah. They all had Recaro seats. Also, little tidbit of information. SC in 93 does not stand for supercharged. The SC is a model of Saleen, not supercharged. So just recently I've had some conversations online with people saying, oh, you're saying one of 3 SCs, mine is supercharged. Yes, that's correct. You have a supercharged Saleen, but the SC was a model. It does not stand for supercharged, so FYI. Still, Recaro seats, 17-inch wheels, and that's, as far as the difference on the outside of the car, there's really not a whole lot of difference between the 91, well, 89 to 91s with that logo, the triangle A as I call it. Some people say block letter, but I say triangle A because that kind of distinct. That's the one everybody knows now. From 89 to 91, the exterior of the car really didn't change much, other than there is a double stack wing, which you can watch a video talking about that. That's a 90 to 91 only, unique to those cars. But the ground effects stay the same. The brakes in 93, they're not SVO, it's a hodgepodge because the Mark 7 changed brakes, so Ford's supply changed, therefore Saleen's supply changed. So the 93s actually have a unique brake system. It's not SVO like a lot of people would think it is. People call it SVO, but the truth is Saleen actually sourced their parts from the Lincoln Mark 7. So there you go. Under the hood, this car is 100% as it came from Ford because it is not supercharged. The whole intake to oil pan on the motor, transmission, there isn't anything that Saleen did to these motors. Still has, this car even still has the factory headers on it. That is something that Saleen really didn't touch. I can't remember, I don't believe all supercharged models got headers. I believe a few of them did. Either way, that's something that, I don't know, regular, like most people call it naturally aspirated. That's kind of the difference, the way people, Saleen people talk about it. Naturally aspirated cars, it's pretty much exactly as Ford delivered. The suspension is changed out to Saleen spec with the Saleen, let's see here, they are variable rate springs. The shocks are Saleen specific. The 93s, I think 92 had, I'm finding that 92 models have both Monroe Formula GPs and the Saleen Racecraft version of shocks. So it seems 92 is kind of a transition year, and there's really a small production line in those cars. Is 18 produced? I always forget, because for whatever reason, the numbering systems where there's cars that are number 20 and 21, but there's less than 20 produced, I know that. So the Saleen Racecraft shocks are specific to 93. I believe they used those also on some of the early 351 cars, 94, 95. Can't remember when they went to Bill Stein. I say it two different ways because honestly, I don't know how to say it. So if you know how to say it, I think it's Bill Stein because it's German, but they went to those in 97, 98, maybe it's 97. Either way, there is a couple of years or 3 of the S351s that actually had the Saleen racecraft shocks that look like these that are on this car, although they are, you know, probably spec'd to the 94 plus chassis. They're similar in color. They also say Saleen racecraft on them in red, but they have stickers on them. So that's really the suspension and brakes. The cars themselves could come like this one. All the Recaros, if they're cloth, are like this. And this car is a gray, opal gray car interior, but it still has black Recaros in it with that confetti pattern. I call it cow pattern. It looks like a cow. Insert on the door. So the appointments are, well, really nice. These are way better seats than the Flow Fits, which there's a whole row of them right there waiting to be fixed. This one also has a tape deck, so that's something that 93s had the option of. You had a tape deck or CD player, but this is an original tape deck car. Obligatory Steve Saleen signature on the dash. But I had to do a video on this car when this thing came to the shop. Just couldn't not do it. I know it's something that I really like to work with Mark on because, well, he has so much working knowledge of the cars, and truthfully, he's spent more time on the phone with me over the years than I could possibly talk about. But the 93s are very unique, very special. There's just over 100 cars produced in 93, and that includes SA10 and SC production. So coming out of the recession, as Mark has talked about in some of the videos I've done with him, things were getting better, but not in full swing yet. Even 94 was still kind of a low production year. It wasn't until those mid and late 90s where things started rolling and taking off. It is a lot better.
I just don't have that fancy selfie stick thing. I've just got the arm thing.
Do you? Oh, this
yeah,
is...
check it out. Just my arm doing spins.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna make me dizzy. Quit.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't have a fancy NPD hat or anything. I'm just lucky I even took a shower today.
Oh yeah, because you were what, in Charlotte last night?
I was in Charlotte last night. I drove down to pick up 2 rescue dogs for the rescue we volunteered for. And the flight didn't get in until 8:30. By the time I got through customs, it was almost 9. And then by the time I got home, it was about 1 o'clock. And of course, everybody was all wired, you know, and then wanted to play.
Of course, yeah, they're ready to go when you get home because they slept all the way. Yeah, they're just like.
And our dogs were like, "Hey, Daddy's home." So
yeah.
It was crazy. And at 55, I can't just do that like I used to, you know.
It's like kids. That's exactly what it's like.
That's what I've been told. Not being the kid guy, but yeah, that's what I've been told. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so behind me, let's see if I can turn and let you see.
Hey, a Calypso Saleen.
Yes. So, you know, I wanted to, I can't remember because I'm at the shop and I don't have the book with me, which I probably should have, you know, some book here for it. But I know that there are 6 total produced in all of Fox production and that there are 5 in 93. And
that's what is believed, yes, unless something does appear later, which, you know, every once in a while can happen. I can't tell you the times that I would call Liz and say, "Hey, I'm sitting in a Saleen coupe," and she's like, "No, it's not a P40 car." I'm like, "Yeah, it's a coupe," and it was recorded incorrect.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Most of the time, it was more cars and concept cars than their production stuff, but occasionally that can happen.
Yeah, so there could be more that we don't know about. That's a good way to say it, right?
There could be, yes.
So of the 5 that we know of in 93, do you remember how many were supercharged?
I believe there was only 1 that was supercharged. I believe that was 21, the car that we had for a while.
Yes, that's yeah. Leading to the next question is that was in your care for quite some time
yes.
Through Roger Rodas, right?
Well, I've owned that car a couple of times, and I bought it and then sold it to Roger, and then Roger had it for a couple of years, and after his death, I bought all the cars that were in the AE collection that were basically Ford powered, including the Ford GT, and then sold it to one of my business partners and put it into our collection, and then it went out to another collector out west.
Okay. Well, I wanted you to talk about the cars with this car with me. It's here at the shop for me to do maintenance on it, do some things, and we're so far apart. I still wanted to have your take on it because I know that, let's see, 21, 16, and I want to say 51. This one, 51, has been through it may not. Well, it's been through your hands. I think. So.
Yeah, I don't remember whether I own that car or I helped broker it or whatever. Because you got to remember, back in the day, you know, I would have 20, 25 Saleen Mustangs on hand at any given time, and you know, they would sell in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you know, a lot of times I would assist in the selling, put the 2 people together, but I didn't necessarily have it in my hands. But I can't remember what number car it was that I bought from a friend of mine in Delaware, but I thought it was 51. I'm pretty sure it was that car. Okay.
Well, it's because I know number 40, I think, is potentially still with the original owner, and it's the one that has logic wheels on it. I know that. I've seen pictures of it, which is very rare. But you know, that it's unique. And then, of course, the lone 91 model SC that people oogle over when it shows up. I just say I posted on Instagram, and of course, within, I don't know, probably an hour, there's 2 or 3 people, "Hey, is that for sale? Is that one available?" It's just crazy. And these days, they're really rarely up for sale. If they are, they transition behind the scenes.
I mean, that's a cool color. I mean, I remember the one that we had. Every time I walked out there to look at the car, I'm like, man, this just screams 80s and 90s because it was such a crazy color. Remember the Beretta? The Beretta GTU, that was that same color. And, you know, it's a love-hate color. I mean, I thought it was cool. I liked it. I really wish I'd held on to it. I want to say it was 16. But yeah, no, and I appreciate what you're doing with the hobby. It's great to have somebody that people can send their cars to, they can trust. And not only are you doing great work, but you know how to put the cars back together again the right way and what it's supposed to have and what it's not supposed to have. There's a bunch of guys out there that are attempting to do restorations today that are doing beautiful work, but the details aren't there because they don't have the knowledge that you have of the correct and incorrect colors, things like that, which make a big difference in the quality of the restoration and the final value of the car.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Well, thank you. That's exactly what we're doing. The power steering hose on this car was routed improperly due to some maintenance done by a previous owner. So it's one of those, the people that know you, it sticks out at a show, and that's something that people ask questions about when it's not done like, you know, looking original. So, well, look, man, thank you for your time. I appreciate you.
No worries.
And,
anytime, Bob. I appreciate everything you do for the hobby.
Yeah, thanks you. Thanks for all you do, brother. So, cool.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
Yeah, dude. See you. So 93 is obviously a special year, and well, the color just speaks for itself. 106 total. So with that, as always, whether you're driving them or restoring them, always enjoy them. Peace.